Welcome to the stage reading of Seven Black Men by Phillip W. Weiss. Disclaimer, although this play is inspired by actual persons and events, it is a work of fiction and should be construed as such. Any similarity to any persons living or dead is unintended and entirely coincidental. The dialogue contained herein is the product of the author's imagination. Synopsis: 7 famous black men discuss the role of race in defining their identities. Scene 1, time the present, place the room. Setting: 7 black men are sitting at a table. Each one is famous and successful. Although they have known of one another, this is the first time they have personally met.
My name is Weiss. I'm an actor and a scholar. I have a PhD in education. I produced and starred in one of the most popular television sitcoms in history and became a role model for all aspiring African Americans. I'm also a veteran of the U.S. Navy and something of a ladies' man.
I'm L.K. Sampson. I'm an ex-football player. I was the first to rush over 2,000 yards in the season. After I quit football, I became an actor. On the negative side, I had some brushes with the law and involving some minor misunderstandings.
If you're a boxing fan, you probably already heard of me. I was born Charlie K, but later became a black Muslim and changed my name to Majala Kali. I was 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. I was stripped of my title after I refused to be drafted into the Army.
I'm like Bison. I'm just a regular guy from Brooklyn, street smart and tough. I was the youngest and most intimidating heavyweight champion in the history. Later I served time in the pen, but that's in the past.
My name is Kimmy Brown, and I was one of the first black superstars in professional football. Kind of had the league rushing, led the league in rushing 8 times and won a championship. I quit football while at the top of my game and became an actor. I'm an old man now, and still got some things to say.
I'm Milton Chamberlain. Some consider me as the greatest professional basketball player in the history of the game. I'm first and so far the only player to ever score 4,000 points in one season and 100 points in one game. I'm also a prolific developer.
My name is Tiger Woods. I have won 80 major golf events and 14 major championships. And during my career, I've made over $1 billion in winnings and endorsements. But I've also had some domestic issues which have set me back. Hopefully, I'll be able to get back on the winning track soon.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, somebody sent me an invitation to attend a special event. Is this the event?
I got the same invitation, so here am I.
I have a feeling that we all received the same invitation.
Yeah, it says in the invitation, quote, "You are cordially invited to attend a special event. This event will discuss the relationship of successful black men in a white-dominated society." Close quote. It sounded interesting to me, so I said to myself, why not? What else am I doing? My life is already a disaster.
That's your fault.
I didn't say it wasn't, but I will tell you now, I did not murder my wife.
You've been saying that ever since you beat the rap. You know you got off only because the jury was all black and the judge was a joke.
Hey, I got some experience with the legal system too. And let me tell you, it is stacked against the black man. I know. I spent 3 years in jail for something I didn't do.
But the bro here beat the rap, and he's black, so how come he went to jail and he didn't?
He had the best lawyers money could buy. I had some court-appointed putts.
You guys are bossy. Real lowlifes. That's what you are. Carousing around with white women.
In my case, the lady was black.
Black, white, what's the difference?
All the difference in the world. I've had 50 women accuse me of raping them, and all of them were white.
That's what happens when you mess around with white ladies. They come bite you back badly. That's why I stay away from them.
I wish I did that.
Look at you. You half black, half Chinese.
Have pie.
Whatever. My point being that you don't even know what you are.
Hey, Colin, all of us are black, including Dottie. Look at the color of our skin. That says it all.
Like, big deal, all right? And skin color doesn't mean squat. I mean, blackness is a question of culture.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to me either. I became a star because of my talent, not because of my skin color.
But that don't matter. People still see the color of your skin, which is black, and it's put you immediately behind the 8 ball.
Can that fool talk? Man, talk plainly. I mean, what are you trying to say?
I am talking plainly. I use a metaphor to try to make my point,
Which is?
that we are stigmatized.
You believe that crap. That's what the white people want you to believe. That's where you're no good. Me, I was upfront about where I was coming from. I ain't changed my name.
You did that just to make a lot of noise.
I did not. I did it out of conviction, personal belief.
Don't make me laugh, brother. You made the noise you did to avoid military service. Be honest, admit it.
I did no such thing.
Yes, you did.
In your situation,
I served 4 years in the Navy, statewide. Stateside of that. You could have done the same thing too.
in your situation was different.
No, it wasn't. I could have set up yours. I'm not serving in this racist country.
But at the time, you weren't a star. It would have thrown your ass in prison.
But I didn't give them cause to do that. Instead, I served. I didn't grandstand like my friend over here did.
You want me to play the Uncle Tom? Fine. But I'm not you.
Who are you calling Uncle Tom? I wanted to make money and I made a ton of it.
What good was it? Now you're a bum.
I'm no bum. I worked my way up from the street and to become champ. But it's easy for you to talk. You're an actor. Me, I went into the ring and put it on the line.
Acting be a tough way to make a living too.
Acting? Tough? Don't make me laugh. Have you ever been in the ring?
Yeah, I boxed in the Navy.
Big deal. You fought amateurs. I went up against the best in the world.
I did some boxing too. I liked it.
Well, that brute force stuff turns me off. I like the finesse that goes along with playing golf.
Golf is a pussy sport.
Now, when you're on the 18th hole and $10 million are riding on one shot, it isn't. And please stop getting on my case.
Hey, we're just talking, okay? No need to cop an attitude.
Just because I don't get my head bashed in does not mean I'm not a man.
There's more to being a man than being tough.
Listen, I'm not cool with that macho garbage either. It's too phony.
But that's how people see us. And it scares them.
What, you mean white?
I mean all people. Look, I'm Muslim and I believe in peace. That's why I refuse to be drafted.
And you paid the price.
I did. But you think I would have been treated that way if I was white?
But you weren't white, and you broke the law.
We've all broken the law. Isn't that right, Sense?
Why are you asking me? I was found not guilty.
In LA you were, not in Vegas.
That was different. The judge there was out for me.
That's right. Blame it on the judge. Why can't you take responsibility for what you did?
I didn't do anything.
So you got convicted for nothing?
That's right. For nothing. All political. Anybody else would have gotten a slap on the wrist, but instead, the judge threw the book at me. It sucks. And that is racist.
Listen, I was a major football star too. And I managed to stay out of jail.
You had your run-ins. What about all those women who complain about you assaulting them?
That's a bunch of shakedown artists. Alright, that's all. Hey, they just trying to capitalize on my fame.
That's what I said too.
Alright. You see, you understand? That's what I'm talking about. That's why you cool.
I'll tell you, being famous can be rough. You really have to watch yourself.
But being famous can be very lucrative too. I mean, so would you rather be poor and unknown or rich and famous?
Isn't becoming rich and famous the American dream?
It sure was for me. I wasn't playing football for nothing.
You mean you didn't play for the love of the sport?
Are you joking? No way.
No, I'm not joking. Why do you think that I'm joking?
Hey, cool it, man. It's just a saying.
Listen, no need to get so touchy, alright? Just talk.
About what?
I was never much for talking. I let my fist do the talking for me.
Man of action, right?
You got it. That's what I believe. Don't say it, do
I think all of us have been guided by that principle.
Yeah, I did too. And look where it got me. Nowhere.
You were a great player. Almost as good as me.
Thanks, bro. But, you know, I think I was a little bit better than you.
But I won a championship. You didn't.
Yeah, but I ran for 2,000 yards in one season, playing for a mediocre team.
See, that's the problem. You think you're such hot stuff. And that's why you never won a championship.
it. That's right. You had it all and you blew it badly. You had money, fame, the notoriety, and you flushed it down the toilet.
That isn't true.
It is true. In fact, it's true for all of us.
Speak for yourself, buddy. I'm happy with my life.
it. That you bought 20,000 women? How did that help improve the image of the black man?
Show that we compiled impressive stats. I also scored 4,000 points in one season.
You see, black men are supermen. We can do anything we want.
I never thought race was a factor in my career.
A half black, half Asian man playing a game dominated by white men, and you never thought that race was a factor.
You don't need to get so condescending with me.
It just sounds so stupid. I mean, you think that people weren't judging you by a different standard?
I know in my case, race was a huge factor in my career.
That's because you made it a factor. If you'd have kept your mouth shut, then the issues would never have come up.
Don't be naive. If I hadn't brought it up, I'd just be another Uncle Tom nigga doing the bidding for the white man. And I wasn't gonna have it that. Anyway, you hear?
Get this straight. I'm no Uncle Tom. I don't do anybody's bidding. I was well paid for what I did, and so were you. So you had no cause to complain. And please, don't use the N-word again. It offends me.
Between bros, the N-word is not a derogatory term. That you find it useful offensive shows how white you have become. And honestly, believe that people are colorblind.
Let me tell you something, bro. You have no idea what you're talking about. You think using the N-word is cool, but it's not. White people love it when we call each other that word. It confirms and legitimizes every negative stereotype they have of us. Even at the height of Jim Crow, they used that word that brought shame, even to the most hardcore races. Now you hear it and see the word everywhere, in movies, television, online, and now from you, a man who changed his name in an attempt to refute what that horrible word signifies. And you accuse me of being white. Why? Because I was paid for white people to entertain the public. Does that make me an Uncle Tom? No. That makes me a worker.
Look, people are not colorblind, okay? But as long as you're producing, then they're not going to throw race in your face.
So, what you saying? Is it that you hush up, put that watermelon smile, do your job, everything will be cool?
That's right, as long as you're making money for them.
Until something goes wrong, and they'll turn on you faster than a bolt of lightning and shove that watermelon right down your throat.
Is that why your wife was chasing you down the road with a golf club in her hand?
That was all hyped up by the news.
Oh, I don't think so. Maybe somebody put it in the word to her, tipped her off, and all of a sudden you were no longer the fair-haired boy. You became the evil, deceitful monster who's a phony and a cheat.
I never claimed to be perfect.
But you were marketing yourself as being perfect. And the public doesn't like to be lied to.
And that's right. And that goes double when you're black.
Double standards, man. If you're white, you're a bum. If you're black, you're a criminal and a threat. It's political.
Politics and race. I heard that before. But to tell you the truth, I'm not so sure what it means.
Yeah, but you're the guy with the PhD, so you should be explaining to us what that means.
Just another slogan.
Meanwhile, we're given opportunities that black in the past never had. So they can't be all that bad.
Given opportunity? Nobody gave me anything. I made my own opportunities. I came up from nothing. No advantages.
None of us had advantages.
That's right.
Except for you, Doc. You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
No, I wasn't. My father was a sergeant in the army.
Who was able to get you on TV when you were 3 years old?
I really miss my father. He was a great man.
At least your father was around. I never knew mine.
That's tough, going through life not knowing your father.
Well, I knew my father was, but we didn't get along too well. He didn't like my attitude.
Even when you won that Olympic medal?
Even then, he didn't approve of anything I did.
Sounds like he was a proud man.
Proud and angry, always put down, always kept in his place. Never given an opportunity to better himself. Real injustice.
That's sad, but my dad was there for me.
You were lucky. A lot of black men can't say that.
I don't know about that. My father was there for me. He was a professional man, certainly responsible. So I can't totally endorse that stereotyping of all black men as being a bunch of irresponsible thugs.
Yeah, but that's the image of the black man that is fed to the media. All black men are pimps, and all black women are on welfare. All crap.
Some of it is true, is the truth. Where I grew up in Brooklyn, almost no one knew who their father was.
But that's where you grew up. Didn't make it true everywhere.
Look, I'm from Philly, and
I'm from Philly too.
too bad we never crossed tracks when we were kids. We could have been friends.
Didn't work out like that. You went to college, became a basketball star. I took a different route.
That took you to the same place. Here with us. Loser's lane.
Speak for yourself. We're not losers, we're winners. We've all made a ton of money. How's that being a loser?
Because we are stigmatized, marginalized, and dehumanized. No matter what we do and no matter how much money we make, in fact, the more money we make, the more that we are hated and despised. Our displays of wealth are perceived as showboating and our money as ill-begotten. No one takes us seriously except for when we act out. And then out comes the race car to delegitimize us and put us back in our place.
I still feel like a winner.
Delude yourself all you want.
Being black comes with a ton of problems.
Everyone has problems.
Ours are bigger.
When I was playing football, I thought the party would never stop. Man, I thought I was on top of the world.
Me too. I was making money, being hailed as the greatest basketball player in the world. Yet, it wasn't enough. I was still under the pressure to prove myself.
That's because you were scoring points. Other guys were winning championships.
That's true, but they had a better supporting cast. There was nothing I could do about that. I was still the best player, and that's what kept bothering me. The press kept on comparing me to them, but in fact, there was no basis for comparison.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me. Now people would ask, where's your championship ring? And I tell them to get lost.
You would say that to the reporters?
Yeah, well, I didn't exactly use those words, but still, I was annoyed.
Notice how the press would play black men against each other.
That was more than coincidental. You don't divide and conquer.
Look how dominating the black athlete has become in sports. Maybe the system isn't as rigged as it used to be for the black man.
I must disagree with you there, bro. The black athlete is open to more exploitation now than in the past. I mean, there's much more pressure on him to excel. If he fails, he's lamb-cast and merciless. He's labeled as a failure. His work ethic is called into question and his motives impunged. Let me tell you a little story. This was when I was still playing football. So I was at this bar having a drink, minding my own business. Then this scruffy-looking white dude who I seen hanging around the locker room at the stadium after the game comes over to me and asks, "What's it like to be black?" Normally, I would have told that dude to get out of here. After all, who was he asking me a question like that? I mean, what are we? Freaks? Mutations? I mean, I'm a human being too. So why pose a question that separates us from others and calls attention to my skin color? See, I thought about decking him right there, but I'm not about to let him provoke me. So I couldn't afford that. Being a big star and being a black man, I had too much to lose by acting out, especially in the public, which is what that guy was trying to get me to do. But since he asked me a direct question, I figured I'd give him a direct answer. So I told him, being black in this racist society sucks. So the guy says to me, hey man, I can dig it. Coming from a white man, I found that comment to be so patronizing. I mean, what white person could ever possibly understand what it feels like to be black? It took me all my willpower to restrain myself from holding off on this guy. Instead, I stayed calm. And with all the dignity I could muster up, I replied, but you're not black, so you can't possibly understand. And why would you want to tell a black man such an idiotic thing like that anyway? Then one of his buddies comes over and says something like, we're big fans of yours, man, and we're just trying to make conversation. I said, yeah, right. And then while still maintaining my cool, I told them in the graphic language that even you guys would have found shocking, where they could stop their conversation. That ended the discussion right there. Both gave me dirty looks. They quickly finished their drinks and they slinked away. No damage done. That is, none that was visible. Two white men trying to use me to provoke a racial incident for reasons that would have benefited them, but would have been disastrous for me. See, that's what happens when you're famous and black. That's why you always gotta be on your guard. They're always looking to pull you down, put you on the defensive and use you to condemn and confirm their own racist attitudes. It's just the way it is.
So we're targets for every bigot with an axe to grind. Big deal. The paychecks are big and are even getting bigger. So somebody out there must like us.
But we're the hired help, nothing more. And we're expendable. Remember, people are fickle. Look, what happened to that mealy-mouthed, right-wing know-it-all on the cable news channel who was the #1 rated news commentator in the country? After reports went public about his sexual improprieties at the network, they fired his butt fast. While he was on vacation, being one of the biggest draws on television, then stopped the network for kicking him out. And he was a white guy. Meanwhile, the attacks were getting more vicious, the insinuations more about and the rhetoric more vulgar.
I think you're right. When the white man dominated sports, you never heard about a drug test. Now that's all you hear about.
Yeah, but white athletes are affected by that too.
But not as disproportionately as it affects black athletes. Let me tell you, if I was putting up the numbers today that I put up when I was playing, they would have accused me of being on drugs.
Well, were you on drugs?
No way, man! I was as clean as a whistle. When I was playing, that stuff didn't even exist.
There's always been drugs. Uppers, downers, painkillers. They've always been around and used.
The only drug I took was booze. That was my drug of choice.
Mine too. And cigarettes. At the time, smoking was cool. Not like today. Yeah, I mean, maybe it'd be better if they brought it back. Brought back that nicotine. It might lead to less abuse of performance-enhancing drugs, you know?
Bad idea. I can't stand tobacco. I never smoked and I never will.
Must be the only black man on this planet who never smoked. I don't know what I would have done without my cigarettes, especially while I was fighting. I finally quit when the doc told me that it was clogging up my lungs.
Good for you. You did the right thing.
Yeah. Then the next thing, I was arrested for rape. Maybe I should have just maybe I shouldn't have listened to that doc. I would have done better if I had stuck with cigarettes and not fooled with that woman. At least cigarettes don't complain about after being used.
Are you really that callous?
No, man, I was just joking. I did what I did. It had nothing to do with me cutting out smokes. She was a foxy looking lady. I liked her and I thought she liked me.
I can play tricks on you.
And your dick too? It had nothing to do with tobacco.
Drugs has always been a problem, in sports and in society. When I became a Muslim, I denounced the use of drugs, alcohol, and all other substances not prescribed by medical doctors.
Come on, man. There's no need to bring religion into this.
I'm not bringing religion in this. I'm just telling you what I did to fend off that kind of attacks. that we're talking about?
When you publicly changed your name and announced that you were a Muslim, you made religion a part of the equation.
What equation? I'm not talking about math.
It's the expression. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I had to go to public. It was a matter of survival.
I'm not sure if I follow you, my man. I'm Muslim too, but I never made it into a big deal.
And that's because you didn't have to. I did it for you.
You didn't do anything for me, okay? And let me tell you something else. I have no doubt that I would have demolished you in the ring.
Yeah, two Muslims fighting each other. Now that would have been a huge draw.
Playing up the religion angle is dangerous. It should be kept private.
When you're famous, nothing is private. I know.
As if you only care about protecting your privacy. Maybe you still crave the attention after you retire from football.
No, that's not it. It's still wanting to make a living. It doesn't mean having to become an open book to every reporter that wants to make a story.
That's the price you pay. To the media, you're a story with a paycheck. Either you deal with it or you drop out.
Well, you should have followed your own advice. The media hasn't treated you too well.
Neither, nor you either. Don't compare what happened to you with what happened to me.
Why not? We're both black, both successful,
You two,
both married to white women.
you two chumps married white women. You were asking for trouble, and you got it, the both of you.
You were never married, so who are you to talk?
That's exactly why I can't talk. You think I didn't have white women hitting on me? You think I wasn't tempted to go on your route? Well, if you think that, you're wrong. That's why I stay single.
Maybe you're a man grabber who's fronting as a ladies' man to protect your image.
You know, my man, you're lucky I'm a gentleman. Or I'm gonna have taken that as offense what you said.
You want to do something about it? Try me. Or talk. That's what you are. You know, bro, if you're so great, then how come you only won 2 championships while that other guy you played against won 11?
Very simple, my good man. Now, he was a great player and a good friend of mine. But he had a better supporting cast. You see, while he was part of the team, I was the team. Big difference. I had to carry all that weight. He did it. If I played on his team, I would have won 15 championships.
That's nothing but talk. Just like you and all those women you claim to have banged.
Back off, okay? If you don't stop, I'm gonna have to take you up on your offer.
You two guys just cool it. We can't have black people fighting each other.
What are you talking about? Fighting is part of our culture. It's about manhood. That's why white people are so afraid of us.
No, it's not. That's what the white man wants you to think. You gotta stop thinking like that. If you act like a brute, then you'll be treated like a brute.
What? If a black man sticks up for himself, he's a brute?
I didn't say that. All I'm saying is that when a black man gets violent, that's just reinforcing the negative stereotype that white people have of blacks.
Who cares about stereotypes? If I'm upset, I'm gonna let people know about it. I'm not a slave who has to suck up to the white master.
Let me tell you something. I should have done what the brothers doing today. Take a knee.
But for what reason?
To protest racial injustice.
What injustice? You were a star. The people loved you. What more did you want?
I want to be acknowledged that I was a man, not just a black man.
I can dig that. People said they watched me play, but I think they saw me as a kind of big, gawky black freak.
How do you know that?
Because I'm black. That's how I know. Okay? You think white people didn't notice my race?
But you were admired.
Same way they admire race was.
You put bread on your plate.
Always made me choke. I couldn't be myself.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I ain't have the guts to be honest. Tell people how I really felt.
Well, I did.
Yeah, where did that get you? Grief.
It also got me respect.
You already had respect. How much more respect did you need?
I'm talking about self-respect. That I could finally look at myself in the mirror without feeling shame.
You could have fooled me. I don't remember you acting like you were ashamed of anything.
Don't play me that way, okay? You all know what I'm talking about, hypocrisy. Being being a sellout to my people and to my race. I was being completely phony and I couldn't take it anymore.
Who isn't a sellout? We're all trying to make a living. Even white people must deal with that.
It's not the same. When whites suck up, it's personal reasons. Blacks suck up, they are reconfirming their historical service. Based squarely exclusively on race. No white person has to deal with that. One morning I woke up, and that little birdie inside my head told me, you know what you have to do, now do it.
For which you paid a price. One that I wouldn't have been able to afford. Besides, I wasn't looking to make no political statements.
I hear what you're saying, bro, but I had to do what I had to do.
You didn't have to do anything. You were just showboating, spouting off, trying to whip up interest in your career, fighting a bunch of chumps.
I didn't duck anybody.
That's because there was no one out there worth ducking.
Man, you're an ignorant of history.
But what you talking about isn't history. That fight in Manila was a joke. I would have decked that clown in one round. And that fight in Africa, a complete farce. You pull that rope-a-dope garbage on me, and they would have had to carry you out of that ring, maybe in a coffin. You sure those fights weren't fixed?
See, that shows how little you really know about boxing and about who I fought.
So, all I know is, I would have demolished those guys.
Now you're full of talk. You lost the title to a club fighter, and when you made that so-called comeback, you became a laughing stock. No wonder you started hitting on women to make your failures to the brain.
That's a low blow, and you know it.
You know, Mujahid, it's easy to fix a fight.
Same thing can be said for a trial. For instance, yours.
I was found not guilty fair and square. Nobody was bought off.
You telling me that the trail of blood from the crime scene to your truck was some kind of hope?
It was planted.
Yeah, by you?
You are so wrong.
You were found guilty. So why are you becoming so defensive?
Because I've been hearing the same trash for the last 30 years.
And you'll keep on hearing it. Questions were raised about the legitimacy of the trial and the jury's findings.
My not guilty verdict was a victory for justice, okay?
Justice for whom?
For me! And who are you to talk anyway? Doping up all those women and fingering them.
Those are allegations.
That's serious allegations. Man, if you want women so badly, why don't you just hire some hookers?
These women voluntarily came over my place.
Look, you lured them and you know it. You just won't admit it.
I'm very proud of the way I live my life.
As a phony, you and your middle class image. Man, what a shame.
It was not.
It was too. You tried to pass yourself off as Mr. Family Man, Mr. Intellectual, just to get over on white.
I refuse to accept that. Unlike you, I did not rape anybody.
At least I owned up to what I did and served my time. You don't have the guts to do the same.
I don't need to, because I did nothing wrong. I am innocent.
That's what they all say.
Well, it's true.
That's what they all say.
No, that I'm innocent. These women were trying to take advantage of me, get over on me, to capitalize on my fate.
So what you're saying is that you were nothing to them. They just wanted to use you.
That's right.
So did you
I'd
ever...
rather not discuss it.
You are one sorry excuse for a black man. Man, let me tell you, I had so many ladies that I had lost count.
Including white women.
Them too. In fact, they wanted it most. It was unbelievable.
Meanwhile, you got yours too by that black lady who complained about you to the police.
She wanted it, so I gave it to her. I couldn't say no.
Women kept coming on to me too. After a while, it was overwhelming. When I first started out, getting laid was a struggle. But once the money started rolling in, I had to hire an entire staff just to keep the women, and some men too, away.
Men too? Are you gay?
I'm not not gay. I received all kind of letters and emails and gifts from guys saying how much they wanted to meet me and do all kinds of stuff.
Like what?
Stuff. You have to draw a picture.
We live in a deprived world.
Nothing wrong with meeting ladies. Isn't that what life's about? Having a good time.
So for you, that's what life is all about. Screw women.
I guess so. Don't tell me you're one of those touchy-feely guys.
Yeah, no,
A strong guy like you, right?
No, man. No way. I've had my share of babes, but after I met my wife, that all changed.
And it seems not for the better.
I loved my wife. She was everything to me. I still miss her.
Then why you kill
Because, hey, screw you.
her? You were about to say something? Then you stopped.
And I didn't kill anybody. Is that clear?
Whatever you say, you were found not guilty. And aren't juries always right?
A jury found me guilty too. Just like they found you guilty in Las Vegas.
That was pure politics. All I wanted was my stuff.
And I remember a few years ago, I was a guest at a show, and I saw someone actually trying to sell one of my old golf clubs. That gave me a weird feeling.
Yeah, how much were they charging?
$15,000 for a piece of junk.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair for anyone to be capitalizing on us like that.
A lot of stuff in this life ain't fair. Things happen.
Yeah. I don't know how you can dismiss that stuff so easily. It outrages me.
I mean, there's other important stuff to be outraged about. I mean, black men being targeted by the police, rotting in prisons. I mean, abusing drugs, chronic unemployment.
Now you sounded like a social worker.
That's because I'm telling the truth.
No, because you're sounding completely phony. If you really cared, then you'd be doing something about it.
I'm not a politician.
Then stop sounding like one. Let me tell you something. I know we have